What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. This is episode 115. Happy Valentine's Day, Amanda.
Aw, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's not really the best. I should have had a love song queued up or something. It would have been better if on that button was Desperado by the Eagles.
Stop it. And you can't talk when Desperado is playing.
Exactly. It's one of the things that I hate about the fact that I love The Big Lebowski so much is I love the Eagles, and the dude hates the Eagles.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he gets into that cab, and I believe the line is, and we might have to bleep a word here, but, man, I've had a rough day, and I hate the Eagles, man. So, I share a last name with the guy that plays that guy, too. So one of my favorite characters has a fatal flaw with me in that I'm an Eagles fan, always will be. Doesn't have anything to do with our episode today, and seconds ago I told Amanda, hey, I don't really have much for this intro, so let's see where it goes. And here we are on the Eagles.
I think the Eagles are very relevant to a Valentine's Day episode, okay? Because what a bunch of hoochie mamas, all right? Winslow, Arizona, all right? Let's talk about the action that was going on there. I am so offended by that song, and I wasn't until probably a year ago, but I'm like, ugh, ew. I need a woman, basically, that's not going to tell my other women that I have a woman and other women. Come on. That's not the way to go about this, guys.
Well, we're talking about the juxtaposition between two of the different scenarios that are going on within the Eagles, right? We got one down in Arizona who's just gallivanting, all right? He's just riding down the highway, picking them out one by one, taking them to an hourly hotel. Yeah, right? Taking them to an hourly hotel with a spinning bed, and we're back on the highway, while on the other side of the stage, you've got an Eagle that has checked out anytime he likes, but he can never leave. And if that's not a metaphor for a bad marriage, I don't know what is. So maybe the Eagles aren't the right band for us to be bringing up on this Valentine's Day relationship advice episode. Maybe they are. I could, there's a Ludacris song about area codes that I could also offer up as pretty good advice or terrible advice. And that's, I think, maybe if we zoom out, that's kind of what we're looking at with the show today here. We are going to talk to 3 different liquid drivers and have them walk us through how they manage a relationship with the job that they do. All of these men have significant others at home, either one or more. And it's interesting to hear about the dynamic of all these different relationships. Now, Amanda and I have already done this interview, so we kind of have a little bit of a peek behind the curtain here. But I think what you'll find as you listen to this, that there are a lot of similarities with things that make a good relationship tick. But there's also a bunch of unique stuff that you could never know if you hadn't spent a lot of time with that person, Amanda. And what you'll hear the drivers kind of talk through is that those little subtle differences between the way they go about it and why it works for them.
Absolutely. Honestly, if you're trying to make your on-the-road relationship work, this is going to be a great interview for you to listen to. Great tips from 3 guys that are each in a little bit different scenario. Kids or no kids in the household, one partner, multiple. I mean, really, no matter what your situation is, one of these guys are going to have some good advice for you, because it seems to me like they got something pretty solid going on. And Marcus might have a little bit to add to that, too.
Yeah, and if that's not enough, at the end of the show, we're going to give you some real Marcus and Amanda advice straight from the horse's mouths. We'll tell you exactly. We've got some questions that people have submitted to us. We've got some situations, if you will. And yeah, maybe I'll help. Maybe I'll add something to it. And then maybe I'll take it away once we get to the final segment there, Amanda. I don't know. This is tough for me because you might not know this about me because of what I do for a living, but outside of a microphone being in my face, I try to be as humble as I possibly can. I'm not a guy that walks around with my chest puffed out. I am loud, but that's just kind of the pipes that God gave me. I don't try to constantly be the center of attention outside of this, but because of that humbleness, I always think that I could do better as being a husband. There just isn't an end to that road. And maybe that's what kind of sets me up to add to this a little bit, is that I am if I'm judging myself for the way I operate within my relationship, I can always do better. And what the hell was that, you idiot, are kind of the things that run through my mind. So I hope that I can add something here, Amanda, but I also have my doubts. Okay.
Well, we will find out either way, all the way through. You need to listen to the whole thing, baby.
Let's bring those drivers in.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
All right, Amanda, time to bring some drivers in here and talk a little bit about relationships and truck driving. It's definitely something that I don't know if stigma is the right word, Amanda, but one thing I will say is that if I were to walk up to a group of random people, let's say 20 people, and none of them are truck drivers, and you would say, hey, what do you think? How hard is it for a truck driver to maintain a relationship? All 20 of them, I think, Amanda, would say, that's got to be so hard. That's long distance. How do they do it? That's kind of the description of truck driver relationships in the general public, I would think. What say you about that, Amanda?
I would say long distance relationships in general have forever been scrutinized. And I think this definitely falls under that category for sure, especially when you're talking about people that can be out on the road anywhere from a week to 2 months. I mean, that is definitely what I would consider the makings of a long distance relationship. Clearly much more challenging, or maybe not. I guess it depends on the person. Maybe you do better when you don't see your significant other on a daily basis. But I can only speculate. Probably best to ask are we going to call them experts? Let's call them experts for this.
Yeah, the experts. And I want to say, too, just a peek behind the curtain of a day in the life of a podcaster, okay? I use so many words on a daily basis. All I wanted was one word in my mind to come up, and I couldn't find it. I kicked it over to Amanda, scrutinized. She found it for me. That's why I love having somebody else who's a fellow wordsmith in here with me. Thank you so much. Scrutinized. I'm writing that one down. All right, Amanda, like you said, let's welcome the experts in and ask them what they think. Joining us first here today on the Liquid Trucking Podcast, we've got Mikal Redbeard Stanfield. What's up, Redbeard? Thanks for joining us, man.
What's going on? Appreciate it.
Of course, always good to have you in here with us. Thanks for the time. Also joining us today, Mikal Donut Duncan. What's up, Donut?
Not a whole lot.
Glad to have you back, man. Good. You're living. I love it. And I know that he's just sitting there in his truck looking pretty right now because that's what he told me he's doing. Welcome, Jason Defoor, back to the show. Jason, thanks for being here, my friend.
Thanks for having me again.
Of course, man. Now, I will tell the listeners just in case because you're getting unloaded right now. There might be a chance that you have to drop off here or put us on hold for a minute just so the listeners know we got a job to do here, and Jason obviously has all his priorities straight. But we're going to get in as much talk with you as we can before you need to take off. So let's start the conversation there with where I kind of started it with Amanda. Jason, I will start with you. Do you feel like truckers and their relationships get a little bit more scrutinized because of the job that you do? Is there a bit of a stigma out there in public? What is it like from your standpoint, just in the way people see things from the outside?
So I'm going to say it this way. Same thing I've told my students for the last 10 years. Every day of every week, they're on my truck. I tell them, look, because usually they're married, usually they have children. I tell them, like, this isn't a job. This is a lifestyle. And if you do not have the love and support and respect from your family, you should absolutely not be out here on the road, even right now, because of the fact that it's so hard to have that kind of a relationship with you and your family because you're gone all the time. And I'd say probably about 95 to 98% of my students that have been on my truck, I've gone through the whole training, usually end up dropping off the face of the earth because they can't handle being away from their family, even after I preached it to them for like the last 4 weeks straight every day.
Interesting. So you would probably say that it's a mitigating factor as to whether or not the family is behind this decision as to whether there's a successful career in the future for this driver. If they don't have the support, they're probably not going to have a good career.
It's not a matter of good career. It's a matter of they're going to have a poor relationship with their family.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably more than likely end up in divorce, and the kids probably aren't going to want to do. It's not always the case with the kids, but chances are that him and his wife are going to end up in a divorce, and it's going to be bad because he chose his career over his family.
Interesting stuff there. Mike, Mike. That's not a good name to say today because two people will answer. Redbeard.
I just assume you're talking to Redbeard.
Okay.
You say Mike, I won't respond.
I'm going to do better. I need to use the handles because this is a trucking podcast. So, Redbeard, we'll go to you, man. What about you? What do you hear in the general public as far as how trucking relationships are sort of stigmatized or viewed by people that maybe aren't on the inside?
Look, man. Okay, so let's start out like this. I did quite a bit of time in prison, as most of you guys know, and in prison, everything was like, "Oh, Joey's gonna steal your girl," you're gonna get a Dear John letter, all this and that. And I think the same thing kind of applies in trucking as well. If you don't have a good, solid, foundational relationship with your significant other, you're always constantly going to be worried that Jody is out there, with your wife while you're out here trying to make money for your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is with the society today, everybody is always like, oh, divorce this and divorce that. So of course, when people are out here on the road, that's instantly what they're thinking, like, oh, this isn't going to last for them. They're going to end up getting a divorce or whatever. But yeah, you really have to talk it over with your significant other, because this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for weak relationships. Definitely not. You got to have that foundation. You got to have that long talk about, I'm going to be out here for a while, can we handle this?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is no, then this isn't the life for you.
Sure. Now, did you have the same partner when you were in prison as you have now, Mike?
No.
Okay. So was that obviously when you end up? Yeah, right.
Jody, what do you mean?
When you end up in that situation, and I am light on experience here, Redbeard. So if I screw something up here, feel free to call me out on it. But you didn't necessarily, I would assume, have the chance to sit down and have the conversation before the prison time of, hey, I'm going to be gone for a while. That sort of just happens to you, yes?
Well, I mean, when you get arrested and you go to jail, you can get bonded out, and then you got to wait for your court dates and all that. So you do have the time, to talk about it. Did I? Absolutely not. I just.
Well,
no bail, straight to sentencing.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for being young and dumb, Redbeard, and you've discussed that part of your life on here before. So I get it, though, and that's kind of, maybe you hold out a little hope there and hope that, well, hey, if I don't have this conversation, maybe I won't have to have this conversation, right?
Yeah. That was just really high all the time. So
right. Heard. All right. Well, that's good insight there. Donut, let's go to you. We know that you've got a unique relationship among the truck drivers that we talk to here, but what is your take on kind of the stigma of truck drivers and their relationships that you've seen in your travels?
See, I've had the reverse. Well, I don't really talk to people. So, when I'm communicating with people, whether it's about home life or whatever, I'm always upfront and upbeat about my life at home.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't really say anything to me about it. However, at home, the ladies at different times have been told by people, oh, well, truck drivers are all cheaters. They're out there all the time away from you. There's plenty of people. And my partners at home just laugh in the people's faces because I'm way too lazy for that.
Yeah.
But there's stories like that. There's that classic story and stigma of, oh my God, my dad had a whole family in an entire another city, so there's definitely something to be said for that. And I it's funny because, Duncan, you're giving me this perspective that I wouldn't have even considered before, which is I'm the significant other. I'm at home and people are like filling my head with trash while I'm trying to make this relationship work.
And in reality, even the entertainment industry really does not help out with that either.
Right.
I don't see that. I know it's a possibility. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just quoting that. What I'm saying is I don't think that it's as big of as a problem as everybody makes it out to be.
Or as it used to be.
Or even as it used to be.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
we
get
have.
that.
I was gonna say, I think we have a lot more ways to stay connected now too, which probably helps with that. You know, when you're able to do things like FaceTime, which also can be used for
Oh,
evil.
yeah,
What are you doing
absolutely.
right now? Get on
Yeah.
the FaceTime. Like,
mean-
That works both ways, right? Because it also makes it easier to cheat because there's Tinder and Hinge and these things where it's just like you can, you
Right.
know, so it's, I think, probably a little bit of push and pull on both sides of the coin there. But I find it interesting what you said there, Donut, about, you know, the entertainment industry. I think
Oh, that was Jay.
or sorry, Jay, I'm sorry there, but
You can have the credit. I don't care.
no, it's
Jay hopped in on my part, darn it.
it's a good point just because I think that the entertainment industry in general makes us think that everybody's a cheater, right? I mean the relationships that you see on Entertainment Tonight, the movies that you watch, the TV shows, that is high drama, right? Somebody who's committed or married.
Even the stupid shows like The Real Housewives, like no, that's not real life. Like
Right.
that is far from being reality.
It's dramatized and it's meant to be, it's meant to get a reaction out of you, but hey, take it from somebody who's I know multiple people that film reality TV. I also know some people that have been on reality TV because former radio personalities have a real penchant for going after that type of work. And I'll tell you right now that there isn't a shed of reality TV out there that isn't produced. Everything.
No.
I mean, and we're talking going all the way back to your favorites, Survivor. Like they're telling you offset, like, hey, the cameras aren't on right now. Go steal that guy's rice. And they go steal the rice. Like they're not, it's just, it isn't reality. And I think it's a good point to bring that up because, and that's one of the reasons we want to have you guys on here to talk about this. Amanda and I could kick this back and forth all day long and still be wrong about it, even given all of the times we've talked to you guys. It's really coming from the horse's mouth for you guys, I think is one of the best things about this show is we just get to ask people that actually know and people that are actually in the weeds. And as I'm sitting here, I wanted to look this up because, you know, divorce rates in the United States are kind of wild. Like it's like between 40 and 50% of first marriages end in divorce. Now, for truck drivers, that number, even though there's not a hard number on it, it's thought that divorce rates in the transportation industry in general are shades higher than that 40 or 50%. Now, for one, I told my wife going back when we first got engaged, we were just talking about being married and what it was going to entail and how things were going to work. And my philosophy on it was always like, I don't really believe in divorce. And I know that that's a weird thing to say. How can you not believe in something that happens 50% of the time? Not really what I meant. I think for me, I want to not believe in it. I want to feel like I can solve the problem first. And then if I can't solve the problem, obviously, we move beyond it. But somebody during that last little bit there mentioned that, you know, oh, it's just easy to just get divorced. Just throw it out there and just, oh, I don't want to be married anymore. It's I feel like truck drivers have to sort of look at marriage as a larger commitment, as something that they are more committed to keep that flippant divorce thing from just always, I guess, rearing its ugly head, fellas. And I said a lot right there. I don't know if you guys can make anything out of it, but Jason, I'll go to you. Do you feel like with all the divorce that's happening in the minefield around you every day that you see, do you feel like that makes you a little bit more committed, makes you want to try a little bit harder to make things work, given the job that you do?
No, because I'm just like that naturally.
Okay.
My mom brought me up the right way. I'll say it that way. And I might have been like every other truck driver I've been through. I can't tell you how many jobs trying to find the perfect one.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew that growing up that when I married, it was only going to be the one time for life. And so that's my wife is my love, my pride, my joy.
I bet she loves to hear that. You're gonna send her this episode, aren't you, Jason? Like, do that. Do that.
I tell her that. I tell her that every time we talk, every day.
That's
It'll still
awesome,
make
man.
her feel good to know you
In fact,
say it to other people.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I don't know about funny, but when we first got married, every day, Like multiple times, I would tell her I love her, and she looks at me. She's like, "You keep saying that. You don't really mean it." I'm like, "No, I do." And because throughout the years, I've proved that. And so now when I say it multiple times a day, she knows that it's true.
I've even heard him say that whole spiel while we're sitting online playing Satisfactory together.
Well, that's great then, because that's not just lip service from you, Jason. If Donuts heard you say it when you guys are just hanging out, obviously it's something you believe in. And listen, I think that type of stuff is really important. I have a little philosophy that I saw my dad do it to my mom when I was very young, and for some reason it stuck with me. And I don't care what my wife is wearing. She could be dressed up like Ronald McDonald for all I care. But right before she walks out of that door every day, I say, "Hey, you look really nice." Because she does to me. She could be covered. She could be looking like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. And to me, still going to be the hottest one out there. So, these little affirmations, these things that we tell each other and ourselves can be very important. And you just kind of cued me into that there, Jason. And I wonder, Donut, what kind of affirmations, what kind of things do you say all the time to make sure that the magic and the spark stays intact?
I talk to the ladies every night, and every morning when I wake up, before I hit the road, I send a good morning. I send good morning, I love you. I hope you guys have a great day. And that's an everyday. Good morning, ladies. I love you. And then I add in something special for that particular day. Like I point out pride in the way they keep the house up, or that they're some of the most amazing people I've ever had in my life. You guys were talking about divorce. I have been married and divorced twice. The divorces neither time were my choice, but I'm not going to force somebody to be around me if they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave them what they wanted both times. I'm like, "No, you don't want to be with me. You don't want to work on this. That's fine. Go ahead." And I've told that to both Megan and Kai when we got together. I'm like, if you're committed to this, be committed to it. If you want to leave, the door is there. I'm going to be upset. I'm going to cry for weeks, and I probably won't talk to you for a while. But I'm not going to make you be here if you don't want to. And their affirmations to me is, "No, you're stuck with me. You signed up for this crazy. You're stuck now. You can't go nowhere." I said, "Where am I going to go? This is my house."
Right. Where I would go to, you guys are already there, so there's not much I can do. How about you, Redbeard? What kind of little affirmations or little habits do you have to keep that spark alive?
First of all, Duncan, as many times as me and you've been on the podcast together, I have to ask you, homie, do you have more than one girlfriend or more than one wife?
I was going to say, make him break it down, because maybe someone's just listening for the first time. Like, break that down for us, Duncan.
I actually have two female partners. Megan and I have been together for 4 years, and Kai joined our relationship 2 years ago.
Dang, man, you're stronger than me, dude. I don't know how you do it, bro. Good job.
I love the responses, the thought of maintenance. All the extra work.
That's great.
But just to kind of piggyback off of what these two have said, man, my wife is my best friend. And when I met her, I knew instantly that I was going to marry this chick, right? Like, instantly. Like, it was love at first sight. Her personality, and just the way she goes about herself, her confidence, just how she's beautiful without even trying to be beautiful. You know what I mean? And every morning I tell her, "Good morning, I love you, hope you have a great day." And I'm always telling her how proud I am of her, because she takes care of the house, she takes care of the kids, she works a full-time job, she homeschools 2 of our kids. I mean, she does a lot. She does a lot more than what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here, sitting in a seat, pulling tankers and, making money, but she is also making money, but doing everything else around the house. Of course, we've got teenage kids that, free child labor law, whatever, so they help out too. But still, she's an amazing woman, and I tell her that every day. And we have this little thing that we say to each other. So my son, growing up, he used to say,
you're my best, right? Just, you're my best. And so we adopted that phrase, and every day we tell each other, you're my best.
That's
I
so
love you.
cute.
You're my best.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's my best friend. I love her. I talk to her every day, and we try to communicate as much as possible. To the affirmations go more her way than they go mine, but I'm okay with that because I know she loves me. She's just not that type of person to constantly telling me how handsome I am and all that. So I'm cool with that.
I hear you, man. You know, I get paid to talk, so it stands to reason that maybe I would be able to select the right words to say to my wife in a given moment. She is not that way, and she will tell me that. Like, sometimes I just don't know what to say, and I get that, because I think also part of that is an affirmation in and of itself, right? If she can't think of the words right now, I must do something to her, for better or for worse. Just being around me elicits some type of reaction, right? So, Amanda, I'm curious about within your relationship. You know, obviously you're not as separated as our drivers here are from their significant others each week, but I'm sure you've got some little things with the hubby that kind of work their way into the daily routine there. Anything that you can enlighten us about here?
Oh God, we're so annoying. We are like the most annoying couple ever. To be fair though, this is my second round, so it took me 2 times to get it right, but we're super annoying. We are around each other entirely too much, just like way too much. We watch wrestling together. It was a premium live event weekend. So, you know, we were like huddled up on the couch for a solid 6 hours watching Royal Rumble. So, I mean, it's super nerdy, but like our endearment towards each other is like sarcasm. We cannot do anything without saying your mom. Like, we will get into a your mom roast battle, and it is the most loving. Like, our kids will look at us like we're insane, you know, my kids, and then my stepdaughter will look at us like we're crazy, and then they have to laugh because it's not like actually our moms. It's like, you know, like your hypothetical mom. But if you didn't know us, you might think that we hate each other. But no, you guys are right on it. And seriously, I have to give kudos to all of you, because telling your woman she's beautiful, telling her that you're proud of her, telling her that she does a good job on those day-to-day things that a lot of men take for granted. All 4 of you. We give you a little, yes, there you go.
That's for us, fellas. That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you deserve it. And I'll tell you what, doing that's laying that groundwork for making them proud to be faithful. Okay. And I think that that's such, like, you know, when we talk about Hollywood and we talk about celebrities, and obviously anything that's in media, it's going to be whatever draws the most attention. Negativity tends to draw more attention than positivity. But recently there's an actor, and I can't even remember his name. He's got like white hair and crazy blue eyes, and he's always played a villain. And just for the first time, he's playing a good guy. And the story about him is that every movie he's ever been in, he played the villain because he didn't want to kiss anybody other than his wife. So his wife is in this movie with him. He gets to play the good guy. And so this is the first time he's ever kissed a woman in a movie. And I think it's so sweet to actually see a story, you know, promoting something positive like that, promoting faithfulness. And you guys are promoting faithfulness by doing what you do with your girls every single day.
God, it's got to be tough as somebody that works in that industry. It's like, all right, I got to go to work. Oh, you filming today? Yeah, I am. I've got an 8-hour makeout session with Jennifer Aniston today, and they're paying me millions for it. I'll see you when you get home. We'll have cold boiled chicken. I can't wait.
I'd be at home like with a knife or something, like cleaning my gun, watching the outtakes. Like, how'd that go? Yeah, it looked like you hated it. You know, I would be the worst. I want to back it up to who's the instructor? Jason, are you the one who teaches?
Yeah.
Okay. So you giving that like warning to your students. For Marcus and I in radio, and I've taught broadcasting, it's a very similar thing where it's like your significant other has to understand what they're getting into and be able to handle that. And so, you know, in an instructor position, I would do the same thing for my students. Like, if your significant other is jealous, this isn't going to work. You know, if they can't handle you, you know, your job is literally to make people like you. So if that's going to be a problem, then that person is not going to be around. And if you really want your career, then they need to go. But I think the maintenance side of it is so important once you get into it. I think if they're getting into it with you,
yeah. And in all honesty, like I don't know if this is going to be the right wording for it, but when it comes to like jealousy, there's really two types of jealousy. There's jealousy where it's just bad. But then and in fact, Duncan and I, we were talking about this one the other day. Then there's like territorial jealousy where she cares about you so much that she gets jealous, but she's protecting, you and what she has with you at that point.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Does that make any sense?
Oh, it 100% does. And to piggyback off what you said there, Amanda, when I first started dating my wife, and I've told you guys this before, I was doing a radio show called The Donkey Show. There was not one person out there that thought that we were anything but a bunch of, party animal jackasses. And that was sort of how the community treated the show. We were out multiple nights a week until midnight partying with listeners. That's what we did. Once every single month for like 6 years, I was broadcasting live from a strip club on like a Wednesday evening. All right. And like, there's a certain bit of that my wife knew going in before she ever started dating me because she was a fan of the show. On the flip side of that, I started that career with another very serious girlfriend who had a very serious problem with strippers and a very serious problem with Marcus being popular at all. And it didn't work. It was not a lot like what you said, Jason. It's almost a non-starter. If you can pinpoint that before you start your trucking career, you're going to save yourself a headache.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great advice, man. It really is. All right, so this is something that there was a driver, Vic, the Brown Bandit, wanted to come on this show, but he was not available. And so he sent us a question that I want to pose to you guys because he said, I asked you guys just what are some of the hard things that you deal with in trying to manage a relationship with the job you do? And Vic wrote back and he said, the hardest question that I get, and I get it all the time, is when are you going to be home? So I want to talk to you guys about that because I know that question comes out. And Jason, since we're on you right now, I'll kick it straight to you, my friend. How do you deal with that question?
All the time. Because so we never were able to have any children. And in all honesty, like if we would have had children, I probably wouldn't have been trucking, but I would have had to figure out something else. However, children would have been nice because it helps break up the monotony of me not being home. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, my wife's just sitting there being bored the entire time. So when I get home, I pick her up and we go gallivanting off for 3-4 days straight.
I love it.
And yeah, that question happens almost every home time. When are you going to be home? I'm sorry, love. I don't know. I'll know as soon as I get my next load assignment.
Man, if I was getting a little like overnight date at the end of every time you're coming home, I'd be asking you when you were coming home all the time too. Like, oh, what are we doing? Yeah. Where are we going?
When's he gonna whisk me away? And where are we going this time?
I mean, again, the whole reason for this show, Valentine is coming up. We're probably going to head down to Branson, Missouri, and go spend the night or something, and go gallivanting on the town.
Nice, Branson. That's a fancy one. If you've never seen the movie She's Out of My League, hugely underrated comedy, and they go to Branson as like a family vacation. It's a little bit of a joke in the movie itself, but I've heard Branson's a very nice place. I would like to go there someday.
Branson, I did not. When we first moved out to St. Joe, and I planned my very first vacation time, we were going to go. My wife's like, let's go find a lake and go swimming. Because we're used to fresh water because of the Smith River. Uh-huh. I'm like, okay. So, I spent probably months looking for some place, and I found Branson because there's a lake there. And so I booked the RV site. Everything was set up. We get down there, and our minds were absolutely blown.
Oh, yeah.
At how busy that place, that little town actually is. And for 3 days straight, like, we did not stop. The only time we stopped is when we went back to the trailer and went to bed.
That's
Otherwise,
awesome.
we were out. Yeah.
Okay,
There's so much to do. Shows, restaurants. Isn't there a casino too? I mean, it's like crazy down there. It's like an
Okay.
awesome
Yeah,
touristy spot.
it's mini Vegas.
Yep.
Perfect. So with a casino and a golf course, I can stay occupied for weeks on
There
end.
you go.
So I like this. I like this. Okay, Redbeard, going to you. How do you deal with that question, man? When are you going to be home? I'm sure you get it. I'm sure it comes from the kids, the wife. What goes through your head, and how do you handle it?
First of all, Branson, ew. Hell no. I live 30 minutes from Branson.
Well, it's not a
I live
vacation
30
for
minutes
you.
from Branson. Screw Branson. There's way too many people there. I've been there twice, and I'm like, I'm not going there unless I absolutely have to.
Oh,
So,
you're part of the problem.
I will agree with that one too.
Okay, so now we've got your thoughts of Branson out of the way. How do you deal with the question?
sorry. Whenever I heard people go vacation to Branson, I'm like, how? Why? Ew. Anyways. No, really, my wife understands. You know, I have a 2-week schedule, so I'm out for 2 weeks, and then the second week on Friday, I'm coming home. The only time that she really asks is on that day or the day before. She's like, what time do you think you'll be here? And it's like, I'll just kind of give her a roundabout estimate, and then when it gets closer, I give her, a more precise ETA. The one I hear, when are you coming home from the most, is my son.
Cool.
All the time. Dad, when are you going to be here? How long are you going to be out? How much time? How much longer? And it is every time I talk to him on the phone, he's counting down the days.
Oh,
It breaks my
God.
heart.
I was going to say, just punch a hole right
No,
through that
that's
chest.
That's awesome because that means he values, time with dad. Like,
Sure.
it's rare to see that in children anymore.
It's
Yeah.
better than him not
Yeah.
wondering, It's
Right,
better
or
than
him being like,
not
hey,
asking.
Dad, you want to take an extra week and just stay out there? I really don't need you. Like that. How about you, Donut? You sometimes probably get that question from 2 different phones. So how do you deal with it, man?
I don't get the when you're coming home because, as I've mentioned before, I am autistic, and the day, like as soon as I get my stuff up in the truck, first thing I do is I send in for my next home time. Like that is the
okay.
first thing I do. So they know the moment I leave exactly when I'm supposed to be back. What I get instead is, could you just come home now? Could you just go home? No, I can't come home. I'm in California. Or no, they sent me to New Jersey. Well, could you just teleport or something? I'm like, what kind of magic do you people think I have?
Clearly something. Obviously something, Duncan.
I'm like, I'm awesome, but come on, I'm not that good.
Look,
If I had teleportation down, this load would already be there and I'd already be home.
Exactly, right, exactly. This whole transportation industry thing would be a wash if teleportation was around. We'd get you guys on home time just 24/7 and just have you pressing buttons, man. But
Hell yeah, that's the wife.
I think it's interesting because part of what I hear here from you guys is that not only have you trained up yourself on how to deal with the type of relationship that you have to have due to the job, but it sounds like your partners are very well trained in this aspect too. They don't maybe give you like they're not riding you so hard about when you're going to get home. Even you, Donut, if you get the, hey, why can't you just come home thing, that's more of it sounds like more of a tongue-in-cheek thing that it is. They actually expect you to be able to set that precedent one day and just roll in from California when you weren't expected. And I think that probably, I don't know, does that make it easier on you guys knowing that your significant others are trained in the way that they're not going to put that pressure on you when you're out there on the road?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say trained, but I would say more like conditions. Train's a weird word when you're talking about your significant other.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sitting here and you guys can't see my face, but Marcus can. And he's saying train, you're saying condition. And I furrowed my brow so hard that it's kind of stuck in that position.
Yeah, I
now.
was trying to find the right word, and yeah, condition's not really the right word either. Sorry.
So I want to know
Steeled, hardened. We could come up with more positively connotated words here, but I kind of think of it through my own lens, Amanda, is I feel like when my wife trains me to do something, I kind of learn it like a dog, and pretty soon it's part of the routine,
I mean, you're a guy, though. It's different. Like,
Right.
that's a different. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm kidding. Listen. No, but here, I want to know something from you guys, though, because, we started this talking about like the stigma of cheating and things like that. And obviously, you all attend your significant others very well. What do they do, or what is something that you need that keeps you faithful when you're on the road?
Redbeard, we'll start with you.
I don't really need anything. I just know that she's gonna be faithful. She does. Listen, I get it from my wife all the time. She says, if I wouldn't have met you, I probably would be with a woman right now because I do not like men. So.
And
now I really want to meet you.
And that's why I saw his painted fingernails the other night when I was watching his Whatnot show. I never knew that you had such nice fingers there, but you keep them painted just to keep her a little bit comfortable there, Mike?
She there for a while, she stopped going to the nail salon and she was doing them herself, and then her nails were starting to mess up. And she just told me the other day, she was like, it's really nice to be able to keep my nails nice and, painted and all that. And I'm like, well, keep doing it then, girl. If it makes you feel good, shit.
Well, but I was talking about your nails, Mike, not hers. I was saying you keep yours nice, just because she said she might be with a woman right now if it wasn't for you. You're just taking little steps,
Shit.
That's all.
I bite the shit out of my nails, man. Right?
It's too good. How about you, Donut? Same thing there from Amanda's question. What do you think?
I don't want to be stereotypical, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
mine did too.
Stereotypically, I want to be like, well, there's two of them, so I'm going to be good. Like, why would I screw that up?
But her question was like, what types of things do you keep, precious to yourself out there on the road that help you stay faithful and keep those eyes from wandering, if you will?
Oh, like I mentioned before, I am lazy. Megan has heard me say it. Megan and I were friends for 7 years before we ever dated. She met me during my first divorce. She went through my second divorce with me. She was there through a bunch of awful relationships, and she watched how I handled it. That every time a problem or whatever was brought to me, I handled it calmly. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm doing this and you don't like it. Can I change that? Yes, I can. So I'll just give that up. It's not a big deal. It's not a fundamental part of me. Like, she watched me go through all that. And one of the things I've told her repeatedly is I am way too lazy to be looking around at other people out here. Because first, I got to go talk to them. I don't like talking to people. Second, then I have to figure out who I told I was going to be wearing, what I was doing, and then I have to remember a lie, and it's easier just to be honest.
Yep, 100%, man, 100%. And, from my perspective, when, if that was ever an issue, which she never said it was, and I don't think it was, but if my wife ever came to me and said that, like, hey, you're going to be out there doing this and that and the other thing, do you understand how comforting it is as a person who is desperately wanting everybody in the room to like them all the time, to have a wife that actually likes you? Like, why would I ever screw that up? I fought for years looking for somebody that could put up with me in a room for 24 hours, and I found her. You got to get a lawyer to get rid of me, lady. Like, you got to go through some steps, all right? I'm like a fly trap right now, and I'm stuck to your pants. I'm not going anywhere.
I guess I misheard the question there. I don't know what kind of answer I gave. That was the wrong answer to that question. I thought it was a totally different question. I'm sorry.
No, I think your answer was good. I do, and because it's like, that is, maybe you don't keep a little thing. Maybe it's not a keepsake. Maybe it's not a picture. It can just be a part of your personality. Like, hey, I'm going to stay faithful because that's way too much goddamn work.
Literally.
Yeah.
Dudes, I have a brain injury. I can't lie. I can't remember anything. So if I have to remember a lie, I'm in trouble. So I just don't lie.
Right.
And that, partially I can see, Duncan, where that would keep you faithful. You're too lazy to come up with the lie and keep track of it.
Yeah.
And I get it.
I also do have a picture of the three of us up above the steering wheel at all times. And they do this cute thing where they hide love notes in my stuff the day before I go to leave, and I will find the love notes in my things. The last time they put a cute little love note in my games case. I didn't open my games case for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. So you
it's a
didn't
nice
find it for a while.
surprise. I
Yeah,
love that.
that's awesome. Jason, we'll go to you real quick here because we are starting to run out of time, but anything that you do for yourself out there on the road that helps you stay faithful?
So me personally, the way I am naturally, like I would never have it into me to be unfaithful. Like I just don't have it in me. And I mean, even growing up, especially going through like adolescence, like I didn't look at girls like that. Like I hung out with them. Yeah, I've dated a few of them, but I really never looked at girls like I got to have this one, this one, this one, and this one.
Mm-hmm.
And even like my own cousins never understood why I was like that.
Because they're people, not Pokemon cards?
Oh my God, I was just going to say
Pretty
that.
all
Gotta catch
that,
them all. Shut up.
But inherently, like I just naturally have always been that way. Like, and even like my wife's like, she was hitting on me. Like, no, she wasn't. She's like, yeah, she was. I'm like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, well, I'm blissfully unaware. So
I love when you guys play that game. I didn't know. I couldn't
No,
tell.
it's
like
it's true.
It's not a game. It's just
I
it's
know.
true. It's just the way I am naturally.
I believe
What you find there is you found a guy, and listen, Jason, I'm right there with you, okay? We're so bad with women. We found one that they can stomach us, and we put up with them so well. It'll never happen again. If we didn't find each other, I was doomed to be alone. Is honestly the way that I feel.
Exactly. And if anything ever happened to my wife, I'd never get remarried. In all honesty, I'd sell everything off and go live out of my little RV and just live the rest of my life that way. Nobody would ever hear from me ever again.
Yep, just turn into a recluse, man. I get it. I watch Landman. I can identify with Sam Elliott and the way he feels right now. Just sitting by the pool watching the sunset because there's fucking nothing else that makes me feel good anymore. I get it. I think that's another reason we want to do this episode with guys that are willing to jump in. Is what I've realized now. This is our third Valentine's Day special on the Liquid Trucking Podcast. And the people that want to join on these conversations are the people that have good relationships in one way or the other, and they figured it out, and they are confident and can come on here and share. Because these aren't always the easiest things to talk about, right? Like,
again, you really have to have a woman there that's willing to do this, to live this kind of lifestyle in a big way. Is my wife lonely? All the time. Does she miss me? Does she miss me? Absolutely. Do I miss her? All the time. But you have to have not only that love, but that support to be able to do this job properly.
absolutely.
Because there's so much that can and does go wrong out here on the road all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well put. Well, fellas, we're going to let you get back to it here. We've been going for almost 45 minutes. As always, we appreciate the time here. Final thoughts today, but this time I want your final thought to be a little bit of a love letter to the person that you've just spent 45 minutes talking with me about. Person or persons. Donut, I didn't forget about you.
And you got to refer to them individually. You can't send the love like, hey, girls. It's got to be separate entities.
You should have saved that for the advice segment and let him dig his own hole and then give him good advice on the other side. But
maybe they like it. I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to heed that coming from the only female perspective on the show today. I would listen. I'm just giving you my advice there. But Donut, we'll go ahead and start with you. A little love letter on this Valentine's Day special to your partners back home.
Why do you have to start with me?
Because you're going to take the longest.
Yeah, exactly. You got two to get through, so let's start hammering.
I don't know. I say it all the time. I'm thinking like, I don't know what to say. I talked to them before Jay called in.
Well, even if you repeat it, even if it's something you say to them all the time, it's not something you say to us all the time, and I could use the love, so lay it on me.
All right. I love Kai. She is the one who keeps me feeling positive. She's the youngest of us, and she's just this wonderful, positive person. Loves to do these fun makeups and stuff. just to do something special for Megan and I. And Megan, she keeps me kind of level and down to earth when I go off the handlebars and say some unhinged crap at home, unlike you guys who encourage me. She's like, okay, well, remember, Michael, if you're going to go do that thing at that place, prison food tastes bad. Oh, right.
There you go. A little dose of reality. Every man needs one of those.
Yeah. I love it.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, if you say it to him all the time, good on you. But we appreciate you bringing it up here today on the show. As I said, I know it's not always the easiest things to talk about, but we appreciate the time and the fact that you're willing to, give Redbeard a little rundown on how things are between the walls of your house because he was confused.
Yeah, I get it. It's different. I never expected to be here, but and I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, good on you, and thank you again, Donut, for being here and joining us on your Valentine's Day, and happy Valentine's Day to you and both the ladies. Hope that they treat you right and you treat them right when you guys do get in the same room here around the holiday. Redbeard will turn.
I have a big meal planned. Valentine's Day is my thing. I love it. I'm always home for it.
Love that.
Yeah, I cook a big meal for them. I do the same thing for birthdays. They're just important.
You are the man with the plan, though. Like, you definitely think it out, mark it out, plan it out, and you got to respect that.
It's the tism.
Yep,
Right?
it's the tism.
It's your superpower,
hey, man,
dude.
You gotta play to your strengths, right? And if that's the way you're doing it, man, it's working out for you. So, Donut, again, thank you for being here today. Happy Valentine's Day to you and the ladies. Redbeard, your turn. A little love note for the significant other back home.
Well, the one thing that I love about Tabitha is that she's not super flashy. She doesn't like flowers because she thinks they're a waste of money. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day because we think that it's just a made-up holiday for the chocolate freaking people to sell chocolates and flowers and all that good stuff. So instead, the way I was brought up is I treat her every day like it's Valentine's Day. And I will continue to do so until the rest of my life because she is just the most important person in my life and will always be.
Well said there, man. We appreciate it. Redbeard, always appreciate your time here, just like Donuts. And same goes for you, Jason. Your turn, man. Bring us home with a little love note to the wife back home.
Well, I tell her this all the time. Like I'm grateful that she chose me. Like, I didn't choose her. She chose me. Just like Redbeard, my wife's not flashy. She's very down to earth, but she is an amazing chef. In fact, she went out and bought some heart-shaped pasta, and she's going to make shrimp Newburg with like a tomatoey vegemel kind of sauce.
Dang.
This year.
That
What
sounds
time?
good.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Oh, it's going to be delicious.
he wants
Never
some
mind. I don't want
company.
to mess up the mood,
Awesome, fellas. Well, listen, Jason Defoor, Mike Stanfield, Mikal, Duncan, you guys are awesome, man. We always appreciate it. Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Be safe out there. Got to get you home in one piece to the families so that we can celebrate. And Redbeard, I will say this, even though I sort of am inclined to agree that it's just kind of made up to sell flowers and chocolate, have not met one of those Russell Stover hearts filled with chocolates that I haven't liked yet. So I got to be honest with you. They're doing something right, brother.
I'd tear those damn things up, homie.
Hey, even the ones with the toothpaste in the middle of them are good, and I don't know why, but it's true. Hey, we'll be right back here. Amanda and I are going to give you some relationship advice the way that only we can right on the other side. Thanks to our drivers. Be safe out there, fellas. We'll talk to you again soon. We'll be right back. Amanda, there's one thing that I think about every single time that somebody says the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Do you know what that thing is? You want to take a guess on what pops into my mind every time I hear the title of the show?
I don't want to embarrass myself by accidentally saying something ridiculous. So, no, just tell me what you think of every time.
sound and professionally adjacent relationship advice. That's what I think of when I hear the Liquid
Duh.
Trucking Podcast.
Of course.
Sound and professionally adjacent, okay? I do want to tell you that. Sound is in, I've thought about it. This is how I feel. And professionally adjacent means that I am a professional working professionally and I'm adjacent to other things in the world. So that's kind of what I think about.
I think I know you are married. You've been married once. You are still married. I honestly feel like this is going to be great because I am more of an expert, I'm going to say, because I've been married twice.
Okay.
Or
All
maybe
right.
you're more of an expert because you got it right the first time, but we're going to find out based on the answers to some of these questions here.
I don't know that you can give me that kind of credit because I'll be honest with you. I see some marriages and they're up there facing Randy Johnson, the big unit, and a 101 mile an hour fastball every pitch. I feel like my wife tosses me a lot of moon balls that I get to wind up and really hammer over the fence. So she takes it easy on me. And I think that's where the entertainment part of this section will kind of come into play. She takes it easy enough on me that I don't think I would last in the real world, Amanda. So you guys are going to get to see that as I give you the Marcus style of advice that I would apply to any of these situations. And we've got quite a few here. We've scoured the interwebs. We've gotten some suggestions from you guys that are listening to this podcast. We've gone on to forums. We've dove deep, if you will, on all sorts of different social media to try to find some real burning kind of relationship-centric questions that Amanda and I can apply our advice to and take it or leave it. Much of this is kind of grain of salt stuff, but you're going to find something in here that really resonates. I have a feeling, Amanda. So let's kick it off. I want to start with you. I want to start with what you've got as far as some of the research that you did. What does it look like drivers and their relationships are struggling with out there right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm trying to let the guys get a little bit into the female psyche, like without, stepping actually into our shoes, but maybe give you a little bit more perspective because I know guys like to say women are complicated. I think we're simple. I think guys and girls are simple. We just got to find the simplicity in each other. So hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on reality for you or let you know maybe what your wife or your girlfriend's thinking. But it was funny. I came across a group of questions that are literally that guy's like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what on earth this woman is thinking. And I came across this question. And I think this question is something that a lot of guys are curious about, especially nowadays with social media that really complicates relationships a lot more than the way it was before. But this gentleman said, how true is it when women say, I don't do this for men, referring to like revealing clothes, doing their makeup, posting photos on social media for likes. And, your lady might be like, I'm not doing it for guys. And that's probably true. And I'll tell you what, you and I have had a conversation with the guys here not that long ago, and something that you and all three of our guys, Duncan and Jason and Redbeard, that's right. You all compliment your woman and give her a sense of security. And if you're doing a really good job at that, then no, they're not doing those things for the male gaze. They're doing those things because it makes them feel good, and you are backing them up on that, right? Like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. If I post it on social, it's because I was feeling myself, but I'm probably feeling myself because you said my butt looks good, right? So it's like cyclical. It's full circle, The more you pour into us, the more is going to come out of us. So, if they're telling you, no, I'm not doing it for the male gaze, they're probably not doing it for the male gaze. Now, Chapel Roan, like that's a different story. You see that Grammys outfit? Woo!
I did, and I feel like the OSHA was just rolling over in their grave. The
Literally.
Safety implications of that outfit.
Could you imagine trying to turn the big wheel wearing that dress? Woo!
Dude. Not just from a like an FCC standpoint. Like the FCC was doing backflips as well. They were really excited. But OSHA, I feel like, is just, that's an occupational hazard. Somebody steps on that dress and you take off walking, you're without a nipple. I don't know how else to put it. So that's kind of my take on her dress. But based on what you said there, I have some interesting experience with this. My wife does like to dress up. She's always liked to do her makeup. She, I would say, like, dress up like a casual business professional, but she always puts a lot of thought into her outfits. And I am, like you said, one of those people that compliments my wife all the time. I feel like it's necessary for her and me. It's a necessary part of our relationship that it's so easy. It's the easiest thing I do every day to walk down and look at that woman and tell her she looks good. Like, understatement of the year is the first thing I do every single morning. And that's really how I feel. Now, that said, recently, within the last 4 or 5 months, she was putting in a lot of effort into getting ready. And I walked in and I said, are you almost ready? Like, let's go. Let's get moving. I want to go to wherever we're going. And she said, no, I'm not finished yet. I got something. And I said, you don't have to do all this for me. And she looked straight through my soul and said, I don't. And it was jarring while at the same time very enlightening, because you're right. She doesn't have to do that stuff for me. I'm not the one. Like, she looks just as good in her pajamas with no makeup as she does as fully done up on our wedding day as she's ever been to me. But I will say that does hit you a little bit heavier than what you're expecting. I don't do it for you. Your first thought is, well, wait, then who do you do it for?
Right.
And what you got to understand is it's for her. It's because she likes it. She enjoys the way she looks. She enjoys the way it makes her feel. Same reason you catch me in black after or before Labor Day. It hides certain aspects of my body that I don't want to show off. So that's for me.
What am I literally wearing right now? Just stop it.
It's for me, all right? So, and that is part of a relationship, I think, that's a little bit tougher to understand. Unless you've been with somebody for a while, you might not just cue into that. It might be that kind of combative thought that I first had. Well, then who's it for? And, meet me at the OK Corral at noon because I'm going to kick his ass. No, it is really nothing. But that's the male brain, right? It's competition. Sure. Like, this isn't for you. Then who? Just it's a visceral reaction,
fully kicks in.
Exactly.
Instantly. Well, listen, and I'll peel the curtain back a little bit more too. Like, when I am considering hair color, when I'm considering an outfit or whatever, I do think about what would my husband like, right? Because at the end of the day, I want him to not leave me alone, right? So tell us, I think that's contrary to what most guys think is, your woman doesn't want to be told. I want to be told. Do you prefer a certain nail color? That you dig that? Cool. Tell me. You'd rather I be this hair color? You want me to wear that kind of a dress? Like, tell me. And so, like, my husband does a really good job of that, and he does it without hurting my feelings for the most part. I think at the end of the day, like, if you have this awesome outfit that you're like, oh, I'm killing it in this outfit, and then you come out and, my husband's just like, I don't really like it so much. Like, I have figured out that he doesn't like how I look wearing an apron. Because every time I finish cooking, he'll be like, take that apron off, you're done. But that's how I figured it out, because it was like repetitive, right? But without hurting my feelings.
The thin line he toes, though.
Dude,
the thin line he
toes. He's a brave man. He's a very brave man, for sure. But yeah, man, tell us. Communication's a wonderful thing. And, the last thing you want is your woman sitting at home while you're out there on the road going, what can I do to get the kind of attention that I want? Tell her what to do to get the kind of attention she wants.
Is really good advice. And here's one that is, I think, a little bit more, this one is definitely centered right on a truck driver. And I want your best advice as if you are in the shoes of the spouse of a truck driver here, okay? Because when I read this one, I was like, man, I was looking through some of the responses. I don't know that there's a right answer to this question, but there's probably workable answers in there. And the question is it bad that I sometimes avoid calling home because I don't want to deal with problems that I can't fix from the truck? And what I think of when I hear this, mainly because of all the experience and talking to drivers, is the things that are going on at home that you don't have to take part in. Maybe one of the kids is misbehaving and tossed a spoonful of mashed potatoes across the kitchen in anger. Maybe there's some issues at school and mom's having trouble, getting everybody rounded up and getting these things talked over. Maybe it's an insurance company question. For me, when little things like my wife handles all the finances and everything in the family, but when somebody needs to be called, I'm the one that calls those people because she hates it. She does not work well in that sort of customer service. You can lose your temper really fast type of realm, right? Whereas me, I talk to people that don't want to talk to me all the goddamn time. I make a sport out of it. So, I put me on the phone with them, and I might either have a friend or a mortal enemy by the end of it.
You guys are meeting to go get drinks at the end of the day.
Yeah, but shit's going to get done because I can get through it, And so I think part of it is knowing the person that you're with, knowing the certain limitations or the certain strengths that they play to here would be my advice. And listen, I've known so many people in my life that are people that would tell you to a fault, if I don't think about this and I don't address it, then that problem doesn't exist. And that's a real, I would think, bad way to go about having a relationship with an over-the-road truck driver. Or a bad way to assess your relationship as an over-the-road truck driver, because just because you're not thinking about it for 4 to 6 weeks doesn't mean you're not going to drive right back into the center of it when it comes. Now, not being able to fix it from the truck, I get that. But Amanda talked about something with our last question that is very important, and that is communication. And I think that if it were me as a communicator, as somebody that communicates professionally, my biggest thing would be, let's talk about it as much as we possibly can and start to chew on a fix. And in 4 to 6 weeks, we can actually apply that fix. But how do you feel about it, Amanda?
I'm actually on the opposite end of that because especially if you look at, we both have radio backgrounds, okay? My family has a tendency to tell me the worst things right before I have to be either on the radio or hosting a stadium full of people. That's how I found out that one of my aunts had passed away. My stepmom called me.
No.
Literally on the way to work. I have a stadium full of, 6,000 baseball fans. It's, a minor league team, an affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians. But I'm like, what do you mean I have to host Dizzy Bat now? You know what I'm saying? It's dollar beer night and I have to host Dizzy Bat and I'm thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that every job is going to have requirements to make that job possible, right? And I think about these guys or gals being out on the road and I compare it kind of to people that might be in the military, okay? You literally cannot do anything about it. But you really need to be able to focus on what it is that you're doing, and we have talked before, and I'm sure we'll talk again about the importance of mental health of our drivers, okay? If it can't be fixed, right, then what is the conversation to be had until you get to a point of being able to work together? I think that it's hard to say, to group this together and just say whatever the problem is, we just won't talk about it. Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances, but before you get to that point of them being gone and going, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I think you should have that understanding before you get behind the wheel, before you leave. This is what I need to be able to do a good job, and this is what I need of you to be able to support me in doing that good job, right? That's I think, it goes both ways for that, but definitely if that's what they need, if they don't. The other thing is too, if every time you're talking to your significant other at home, it's something negative, it's like Pavlov's dog, right?
Yeah, you got to break that.
You're being trained to not want to call home because of that.
Yep, got to break that cycle, and that's a tough one. All right, just doing the traveling sales that I would do. Most nights I'm home. If anything, I'm maybe spending a night or two a week out on the road, and still, the communication was so important. Even on those couple of days that you're gone, the communication is, I think, paramount. And telling that person, you're telling your person, hey, I can or can't talk about this right now. I need to focus. I need to compartmentalize. I need to just put this on the back shelf. Those things are important too, because, coming from live radio, you never believe this. Somebody that talks as much as I talk. I used to have a moratorium with my wife, and I hate to say that. What kind of asshole says I have a moratorium with my wife? This guy right here, because I would do a 4-hour radio show with 2 of my best friends where 2 hours before the show, we were together in a 10 by 10 room talking. And then 6 hours later, we would still be talking. And then we would go home, and the first thing that my wife would want to do is talk about her day, anything. And I finally had to tell her, the reason these conversations don't go well is because I am not talky right now.
Yeah,
I've
you
talked
need a
all the
minute.
talk. I
a minute.
need to sit down and let my brain reharden because it's mush right now.
And that's such a big thing. That's like one of the biggest things I think I've joined a couple of groups on Facebook where it's like married couples. One of them is driving and one of them is at home, and there's all kinds of things that people talk about. But a recurring theme is my significant other at home wants to talk every night. I don't want to sit on the phone like that. And the thing that I think we don't think about is not just like that adjustment of energy when you get home from work. I think we all have that. But you also have to consider the length of your relationship, right? So the conversations that you're having at the beginning of your relationship, like, I don't know what it's like for you, Marcus, but when my husband and I get to the end of the day, we're not sitting there like chatting each other up. We might be sitting there next to each other, scrolling on our phone while watching something on TV, right? So having that connection, maintaining that connection with your significant other when they're at home, there's other ways you can do it besides conversation. There are apps now. Do you know that the Netflix app will allow you to co-watch something together?
Yeah. Yep. I have seen that.
So many cool things. You throw the phone on FaceTime. You don't have to sit there and talk, but having that connection, that time together, that's what is important. So I think back to the conversation of like, I don't want to call home because it's a problem and I don't want to hear about problems. Sometimes that's what the person at home, that's all they have to talk about, right? So they're trying to find something to talk about. I think that we don't necessarily need to talk. I think having some connection without necessarily needing to talk can fill that space, can fill that void just as much as having a conversation.
Yeah, I think, when I'm on the road, which sometimes I am for this job, I just spent a week in Florida. What I find really helps from time to time is like, in the 15, 20 minutes, you're just scrolling and you see a funny meme, and maybe normally that meme goes to your friend group. My college buddies and I have a text group that we call 6 Dudes, 1 Tub. And it's just, I mean, the stuff that's in that chat thread, you would never talk to me again, right? But like once in a while when I'm on the road and I'm really missing my wife and the dogs, like I saw a dog meme and I'm like, I'm sending that to her. And like, we got to share a little laugh and we got to talk about, hey, remember when Dan and Elliot did this thing and it's a lot like this? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we spent 3 minutes talking over text, and to anybody else from the outside, it would look like just a passing conversation. But what that did for me out in Florida to develop that connection, because it was like, I left on Monday at 5 a.m. and this is like Thursday at 3 p.m., right? Like, I'm feeling it. I don't want to be here anymore. Florida, you're great. Love you long time. Wanted to leave at that point in time. And that little tiny interaction with my wife just made me kind of take a deep breath. Okay. It's like, it's only, another 30 hours. I'm going to get to see her. Like, those little things, even though mostly meaningless, actually do carry a lot of weight in a relationship.
More weight than a scheduled conversation. Okay. Yeah. To be a wife and have my husband think of me on his own randomly through the day, right? So you sending a meme, it holds so much more weight than it just being a simple text.
Yep.
Hey, you have to call me at 8 o'clock. Like, okay, that's it feels demanded, it feels forced, but something like that, you've just win. You do a really good job, Marcus.
Well, I don't tell you about all the times I tell her to send me other pictures and things like that at times that don't work for her, but I'm still being very demanding.
Oh,
listen,
my God.
It's a crapshoot being married to me, and I know that because I've got the brain of a squirrel. It goes really hard for 6 seconds on one thing and then switches gears. So
my husband's been like that, and I've had to remind him there are windows in the studio, honey.
Okay, see, I need to get her a job where she's working from home then, I guess, is that's the only thing, because she's off today, though, so maybe I just go down there and actually take advantage, right? She doesn't get too many days off when I'm here, so.
Be like, hey, babe, remember that meme I sent you a couple weeks ago? Yeah.
Remember how much that turned you on? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you have it. A little bit of relationship advice from Amanda and I, the way that we would give it. And that was the whole point here, is to talk to you like people that have been through things. And I think we did that. We give you a little bit of how we do it and a little bit of how maybe it would work. And hopefully you learned something today. If not, you can always show this segment to your significant other and compare yourself to me and how much better you are to deal with. And maybe that makes you a little bit of mileage, okay? I don't know. I'm just hoping, though, Amanda. But it's been cool to get to kind of knock this back and forth with you, because you have the experience. You saw your mom and your stepdad, a driver on the road. Obviously, working the jobs that you've worked has sometimes taken you away from home, from the kids, from the spouse. So I think that some really good advice here from you, and we greatly appreciate it.
Oh,
Us
thank
men.
you. Yeah. Professional adjacent.
That's how we will always be. And that's going to put the brakes on this episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day from all of us here at the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Pay a little bit of special attention to your spouse today or tomorrow, or if you're like Redbeard, do it on a completely random different day, because you're not down with the corporate bullshit, Amanda.
Oh, and buy her flowers even if she says she doesn't like them, okay? Just do it. Just do it.
And a little advice from me, if you think, well, capitalism, blah, 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 I'm going to grow them. If you ain't ever grown anything in your life, don't start with a rose bush for your wife, bro. That's all I can say. You can take that from me as hard experience. You're going to kill the plant, and it's going to turn into a metaphor. So just don't do it, all right?
Literally, the exact definition of it's the thought that counts.
All right, Liquid Trucking, we will see you next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Stay safe out there and keep the shiny side up.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Interested in finding out more about what it takes to bring a podcast like the Liquid Trucking Podcast to your fleet? Bulldog provides tailor-made top-to-bottom podcast production services. We'll meet your terminal staff, connect with your drivers, and bring you the content you want your drivers to hear. Type bulldog.works into your browser to connect with us and learn more about what we can do for your fleet. That's bulldog.works for podcasts, tenacious recruiting, and more.